Bahrain's Forum for Human Rights has called on the United Nations to stand against the oppressive measures of the Khalifa regime. It's also called on the UN to press the regime to abandon its security approach and work towards national reconciliation to realize political reforms. Forum says Manama was behind Beirut's recent decision to deport non-Lebanese members of Bahrain's al-Wafaq opposition group. It says the decision follows the group's press conference in Beirut, which shed light on human rights abuses in Bahrain. It's warned al-Khalifa regime is attempting to target rights activists in other countries as well. Bahrain dissolved al-Wafaq in 2016 as part of its crackdown on a popular uprising, which began over a decade ago. Joining us now for the program is Sondos Al-Assad, a Bahraini human rights activist, joining us out of Beirut, and Ghina Rebai, researcher from the Bahrain Forum for Human Rights, joining us from Beirut as well. Hello, and I'd like to welcome you both to the program. I guess we'll start with Sondos. We'll start with you. Hope you're safe and doing well out there in Beirut. Your thoughts on these recent developments? We know that al-Wafaq was dissolved a few years ago. Basically, all opposition groups in parliament were dissolved. A lot of members were either disappeared, imprisoned, they had their statehood stripped away from them. They could not freely travel. They're, in essence, it's illegal to leave someone stateless, yet the al-Khalifa regime did, and the West said nothing about it. Your thoughts on what took place in Beirut and how it impacts the human rights situation for the al-Wafaq members?
So al-Wafaq is the top opposition group that represents the vast majority of the Bahrainis from different ideologies, from different political and religious and sectarian affiliations. Al-Wafaq has had in the recent elections that it took part in 18 seats in the parliament. But following the February 2011 peaceful demonstrations and the movement, pro-democracy movement, which called for freedoms and equality in Bahrain, the Al-Wafaq has left the parliament, and then as part of the crackdown of the government, Al-Wafaq, along with others, with other blocs, were dissolved, arbitrarily dissolved. So this was this represents that this reflected the political atmosphere in Bahrain, where the opposition is silenced. They has no space to express their opinion. They are not allowed to express their opposition to the government systemic policy of repression and political naturalization and the rampant corruption that have swept Bahrain since the Al-Khalifa have governed Bahrain. So there's no space for those people to express their views, and most of them have been stripped of their citizenship, also arbitrarily and illegally, and they have been deported to many capitals around the world, including Beirut, where they have held their recent press conference, in which they have launched their the annual human rights report, which revealed the atmosphere of repression and the human rights violation in the country. And this wasn't the first press conference or the first event that the opposition, the Bahraini opposition, held in Beirut. But we know that the political atmosphere and the pressure that Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf countries are practicing against Lebanon. So
okay.
Manama has followed.
I'm sorry, Sonos, I don't mean to cut you off, but I need to welcome, we don't have a lot of time, I have to welcome our other guest, Ghina Rebai, to the program. Hi, Ghina. Now, what Sonos is saying, Ghina, in essence, is the Al Khalifa regime has outlawed opposition in Bahrain. Yet, if that's the case, it's not outlawed. Supposedly, Lebanon prides itself on being multicultural, multi-ethnic, multiple religions there, and they're all working together to try to run that country. So it's a lot different than what we see. It's not a dictatorship like we see with the Al Khalifa and in Bahrain. So why is Lebanon going after free speech and these people's right to express opposition to the policies of what's taking place in Manama, Ghina?
Hello, and thank you very much for having me. This time, the problem is we've always been used that the Bahraini authorities violate the rights of the Bahraini people. What happened now is that both the Bahraini and the Lebanese government violated the rights of the Bahraini opposition. I need to read first what actually happened until I reach to the reason why the Lebanese government, or only the Lebanese individually, the Lebanese Prime Minister and the Minister of Interior did that. The issue is that on Thursday, the 9th of December, Al-Wifaq National Islamic Society, which is the most prominent Bahraini political association regarding having the largest popular base in Bahrain, held a press conference in Beirut to launch its human rights report, not a political report, a human rights report, under the title Epidemic of Violations, which documents in detailed facts and numbers violations of human rights committed by the Bahraini authorities against the Bahraini people from 2019 until May 2021. The reaction to the conference was that the Bahraini Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent a letter of objection to the Lebanese government, to which the latter responded hastily and in a swift support to the objection. The Lebanese Prime Minister described the Bahraini opposition's press conference as, I quote, a wrong behavior. Before even reviewing the facts of the event, he also confiscated the opinion of the Lebanese people, claiming that the event does not express the opinion of the largest segment of the Lebanese people, which is totally not true. The Lebanese Minister of Interior had the same swift response as the Prime Minister, and today he issued a decision to deport all non-Lebanese who participated in the conference, knowing that they violated no Lebanese laws at all, nor in the conference, neither in all their political and human rights actions since their asylum in Lebanon from almost a decade ago. You know why? This follows, this is very popular nowadays in Lebanon. You know why? This follows the recent responses from the Lebanese government to the Saudi pressure to suppress freedom of opinion in Lebanon, which led to the recent resignation of both the Lebanese ministers of media and of foreign affairs because they expressed their freedom of expression. The former minister of media said that the war on Yemen was absurd, and for that he was pressured to resign. The Lebanese government is compromising the right to freedom of expression, and the decision of the Minister of Interior to deport the Bahraini opposition figures is turning Lebanon into a police state, and this cannot be accepted. I need to add something that please, the Lebanese government's awareness of or tacit acceptance of the possible forcible transfer of the association's members to the Kingdom of Bahrain contributes a great violation of the principle of non-refoulement.
Okay,
the convention
Ghina,
against torture Lebanon is a part of. Yes,
thank you. Yeah, but we only have about 40 seconds left. I want to ask Sondos this last question. Sondos, we only have 40 seconds left. Really quick, Ghina mentioned that these people are going to get deported now. Should that happen, should these Al-Wifaq members get deported back to Manama, what do you think the future holds for them? Sondos, 40 seconds, please. Go ahead.
That's a heinous crime, and that mustn't happen because those will be deported to Jau Central Prison. The notorious Bahraini prison, which is known for its human rights violation, which is known for torture, which is known for medical neglections. This mustn't happen. The international community must pressure both the Lebanese and the Bahraini government to stop purchasing and to stop violating the rights of those people. They haven't committed any crime.
Thank you to both of you for joining us. Great program. Sondos Al-Assad, human rights, Bahraini human rights activist, joining us from Beirut, along with Ghina Rebai, researcher at the Bahrain Forum for Human Rights. Both of them, from Beirut. Stay safe, ladies. Thank you for joining us on the program. And viewers, that brings us to the end of this Press TV's News Review program. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye for now.